Hi, welcome to another session. So far, we are dealing with methods of psychological inquiry, and we have seen few methods in the unit so far. And today, we'll see another method, that is survey method. Before going to survey method, we will see and recall just a few uh, words. That is a correlation method which we discussed earlier. That is, in correlation method, there are significant values which we have to concentrate on. That is, when the correlation between two variables is lies in between 0 to positive value of 1, we call it as the correlation is positive. When the value is 0 or very close to 0, then it is 0 or there is no correlation between the variables. And when the value lies between 0 to minus 1, that is minus 6, minus 0.6, minus 0.8, etc. You call it is as a negative correlation. Okay, let's see today's topic, survey research. In survey research, there are several methods. Let's see what they are. And in that, we will discuss personal interview in today's session. So let's move forward. Survey research. If you can see, in survey research, you may have read in the newspapers or seen on the television that during the election surveys are conducted to find out if people would vote for a particular political party or favor a particular candidate. So if you can recall the 2014 and 2019 elections in India, there was a high boom in where news, what you can say as a fifth estate or a media, particularly social media, has played a great role in the campaigning of political parties or candidates. In the digital world and the world of communication, definitely media plays a key role. It influences or also make the facts visible to the naked eye. Okay, so that's how powerful is data. Even data has a very important role in research methods also. In that way, one of such methods is survey research. Survey is a very broad term, and we can also have multiple types of surveys can be conducted, and one of such methods we will see now. Survey research came into existence to study opinions, attitudes, and social facts. What are the social facts? The facts related to common public or a group, particular group, and attitude of a group. You can say a team, like a cricket team, football team, there can be anything, like people living in rural areas, people living in urban areas, people living in metro, attitude of people living in metro cities, and opinions. Say we can put it as opinion over medical methods, or opinion over political decisions, opinion over the constitution. So in such a way, even you may have participated recently. These survey has took into very new methods. These these are coming like poll. You can call it as a poll for one or two factors. The factors can be varied between 2 to 5 factors. On which factor, like rating scales, you can say there are a lot of things. So uh, survey research is important or came into existence to study opinions, attitudes, and social facts. Okay, this is important one. And the main concern initially was to find out existing reality or baseline. So they were used to find out facts such as at the literacy rate at a particular time, religious affiliations, income level of particular group of people, etc. They were also used to find out the attitude of people towards family planning. See, family planning is a country decision. Even if you can recall, nowadays in India, uh, as the population is uncontrollable, we are people are suggested for family planning. The attitude towards giving power to the Panchayati Raj institutions, like now, if you can see, particularly in Andhra Pradesh, the local governance has been strengthened with the new system, like Sachivalayam concept has come into existence, and even plantation of trees. The effect of plantation of trees over the population, deforestation, erosion, pollution, the situation of a pandemic period, all these things can be easily surveyed. Particularly in the earlier, you will be dealing with very few people. Now, if you can see, the survey research can deal with huge population, and the data can be over the number, and with careful observation, these facts can be very. These cannot be the what you can say is like very keen and accurate, but they gave the overall opinion of that particular study. However, for running programs related to health, education, sanitation, as we said, we have taken different examples. And however, they have now evolved into sophisticated technique which helps in inferring. Inferring is in related to information, various kinds of casual relationships. Also, like which type of people, like given gender, how they want to study, like that. Box 2.2 provides an example. Yes, we will see example at the end of this discussion. The survey research uses different techniques for collecting information, included among these techniques are personal interviews, questionnaires, telephone surveys, and controlled observations. These techniques are discussed here in some detail. So this is one such. If you can see, the particularly survey research concentrates to study opinions, attitudes, and social facts. How the examples are discussed here, if you can study, it is really easy and understandable. And next, this is the overall gist of information, why survey methods are used and in which scenarios. Like many people, particular social facts related to particular group affiliations, like decisions of a particular time. When dealing with huge population, this survey method will help. So how many methods are there? There are 4 methods. Namely, we will study in this one. Of course, there can be even new media methods have been evolved. So let us see what the first method, first technique in survey research, that is personal interviews. Personal interviews, the interview method is one of the most frequently used methods for obtaining information from people. Like you can see, a group of people can be interviewed. Even I think in personal interview, there are different methods we will see in the next few minutes. The interview method is one of the most frequently, if you can see, if you can, after the discussion, you will come to know how you people, like general public, are also aware of this method, but they don't know that this is an interview method. Like we will ask some questions. Hey, where have you gone yesterday? Like, how was your day? How are you feeling now? All these questions is like open-end questions, and this is one such type of method we use regularly. That is what we discussed in unit 1. Every person can understand the behavior. He can only react after understanding the behavior. That's how a every common person is a psychologist. I'm sorry for the sound. Okay, and on tele, let's proceed. It is used in diverse kinds of situations. It is used by a doctor to obtain information from the patient. Like if you go to a hospital, the doctor might ask what you have taken in the earlier day, what you have taken, what are the symptoms for this condition, what is your lifestyle, like that. And even for an employer, like to employ a person, he will be checking with the education background, his skills, his communication skills, what are his strengths, etc. Okay, and mm, a salesperson interviewing a housewife to know why she uses a certain brand scope. Like now this is based on AdSense or artificial intelligence, but previously earlier there used to be salesperson used to come to every home, like taking a review. And even I think in the mark, if you, what do you can say, organizational psychologist or industrial psychologist, and even marketing, this technique is used. Okay, if you can recall the unit 1, you can understand this example, particular review, and how they can improve the product. On television, we often see a media person interviewing people on issues of national and international importance. Nowadays, this has been increased a lot. Every channel has a prime time show. Now you may relate to it. What happens in an interview? We see that two or more persons sit face to face with each other, in which one person, generally called interviewer, this is important. Interviewer asks the question, and the other person, called interviewee or respondent, answer the questions related to a problem. An interview is a purposeful activity conducted to derive factual information, opinions, and attitudes, and reasons for a particular behavior, etc., from the respondents. It is generally conducted face to face, but sometimes it can be taken place over the phone or the internet. Like nowadays, the social video methods like Skype, these things are also getting developed. Of course, it is increasingly used. So, what is the point of personal interview? To know information. The main purpose is to know information in a formal and informal way. You can see it is like uh, the person himself, the interviewer himself, becomes the questionnaire. It is not on the paper, but the interviewer himself asks the questions. And what, from where, from where the person, interviewee or respondent, the interviewer and respondent. And then what is the information collected for? To derive information, that is factual information, opinions, attitudes, reasons for particular behavior. This is the importance of personal interview, and using this we will be collecting the information in that way. Next, there can be two broad types of interviews. So personal interview is one such method in survey techniques, survey research. It is one such technique. In that technique, personal interview, there are two methods. That is structured or standardized method, and the other one is unstructured or non-standardized method. Okay, this distinction is based upon the type of preparation we make before conducting the interview. So what the board wants to tell you is that there can be two methods, that is structured and standardized method, and the other one is unstructured or non-standardized. If you can stick to the word structure and unstructured, what is a structure? A structure is a designed method. Unstructured, it is not designed, it goes in a flow. Okay, in general understanding. This distinction is based upon the work you have prepared. If you have been prepared for a structured interview, let's see, as we have to ask the questions during the interview, it is required that we prepare a list of questions beforehand. The list is called an interview schedule. A structured interview is one where the questions in the schedule are written clearly in a particular sequence. It is a step by step, and the questions has to be linked so that the information you derive from the respondent or interviewee can be in a constructive way and understandable way. Like if you can see, if you ask the interviewee or the respondent, what is your name? After that, you have to ask the relevant question. After the name, generally you can ask for age or location where he wants to or what he studied. But not the question like, in third class, what is who is your best teacher? In the first question, you ask what is your name. Next, you ask in third class, who is your best teacher? There is no linkage, right? So there should be, the questions should be interlinked. After the name, you can ask for father's name, where do you live, and then what do you study, what is your grades, and then you can go to this question. So structured is one such method. You have the list of questions prepared before, and there should be a proper sense. Okay, a structured interview is one where the questions in the schedule, in the schedule are written clearly in a particular sequence. Yes, there should be a sequence and connection and make sense to the respondent to respond in a comfortable way. The interviewer has little or no liberty to make the changes in the wordings of the questions or order in which they are to be asked. Yes, in structured interview, you have no freedom because they are already framed in such a method to derive the information from uh, the respondent. Okay, the response to these questions are also in some cases specified in advance. Like you have to be answering in such way, you have to be answering in one method. Like you will be preparing the respondent to use in a method to derive the information. Okay, and these are called closed-ended questions. Like what is your name is a closed-ended question, but how did you get this name is an open-ended questions like we are discussing. Okay, and then and in contrast, in an unstructured interview, the interviewer has the flexibility to take the decisions about the questions to be asked, the wording of the questions, and the sequence in which questions are to be asked. Since responses are not specified in such type of interview, the respondent can answer the questions in the way he chooses to. Like if you can see, generally most personal interviews, like if you are uh, if you are interviewing a candidate, particular candidate like an employee or a person, generally that is a structured interview. And if you have the panel discussions, like earlier, as I said, the surveys related to elections or opinions, you may encounter different kinds of people. There it is most like as the prime time shows, as I said, they are mostly unstructured, that goes in a different manner. The people will be talking continuously on it, on a thing. There is no limit. there is no control, but that is an open-ended question. Okay, so it is more expressive. This is very less expressive. Such questions are called open-ended questions. For example, if the researchers wanted to know about the happiness level of a person, he may ask, "How happy are you?" The respondent may reply to the question in the way he chooses to answer. That's where an open-ended questions, like, it elaborates the information from the respondent. A closed-ended questions, it is specific and very short. An interview may have the following combinations of the participants in an interview. Like as I said, in a personal interview, you will be interviewing only one person. Like in the panel discussions or a group discussion, there can be several people involved in the discussion. Okay, in the interview, there are types of interviews. There are combinations of participants. One is individual to individual. That is what it is a situation where one interviews another person. Generally, it is a you can say in the earlier example, like a salesman interviewing a homemaker or a housewife, an interviewer interviewing a student about a product, education, and then an interviewing asking an employer and employee interactions can be individual to individual. Individual to group. In this situation, one interviewer interviews a group of persons. One variant is called focused group discussion. Generally, this is like public opinion discussion. Those are the prime time shows which we are using, which we can refer to the example. Like, it is called a focused group discussion. Is individual to group. Group to individuals. Next one, if you can see, group to individuals, it is a situation where one group of interviewer interview one person. You may experience this type of interview when you appear for a job interview. That is like, in a job interview, like a higher group exams, like in India, the civil services exam, there is a panel of interview interviewers, where a psychologist will be sitting, where an expert, a subject expert will be sitting, where the manager related to particular department will be sitting, and the company CEO or a related HR person will be sitting to select the person to interview the particular respondent or interviewee or the employee, whether he is suitable for the company. Generally, the bigger positions in the company, the panel will be the higher. You can call the group as a panel. Okay, group to group. It is a situation where one group interviewers interview another group of interviewees. Okay, generally group to group discussions happen in when a particular group wants to know another group. Here, these group discussions can be compared to there can be two groups of a theme, single theme. There can be single theme, and we can ask these conduct these type of interviews like group to group for getting a opinion over a subject or a matter. Okay, then interviewing is a skill which requires a proper training. A good interviewer knows how to make answer, how to make the respondent at ease and get the optimal answer. Like as I said, interview is a very good skill. You have to be get trained very well to, like, to prepare a structured interview or to focus the unstructured interview. Okay, she or he remains sensitive to the way a person responds, and if needed, probes for more information. Like, even you should not ask troublesome questions. Like, the person has to be comfortable, particularly in psychology interviews. You have to make the person very comfortable and ready to help you deriving that information. Like, as it is mostly the personal information will be discussed in psychological interviews, like when you are dealing with a person or a behavioral problem, there the interview works a lot, but you should make the respondent or interviewee very comfortable. If the respondent gives vague answers, the interview may try to get specific and concrete answers. Yes, if the person is giving you general opinions, like how you can be happy, if you ask such a question, the response, yes, I'm good, I'm doing fine. These are the general statements. And again, you can ask for how you are doing, how is the day, what is the specific example you can say that the day is successful. Like that, you may ask for a specific concrete response and make some sense out of it. The interview method helps in obtaining in-depth information. Like I said, this personal interview is a very successful method in dealing with particular people, and as you can see, very popular method in deriving getting information from the individuals. It is flexible and adaptable to individual situations and can often be used when no other method is possible or adequate. Like in the structure or what you can say, designed, specified method, and unstructured or not specified method, you can you can use it very freely. It can be used even with children or non-literate persons. Yes, when the language is common and when the group of people of similar group can easily make understand. That is what in a day-to-day life you will be definitely using this method, but you do not call it as an interview. When you meet a friend, when you meet a friend after a long time, you will be asking a lot of questions to know whereabouts and how is life. That is a simple interview method, you can say. And an interviewer can know whether the respondent understands the questions and can repeat or paraphrase the questions. Like in the general open-ended or unstructured interview, you can put in this way, like whether you are getting that one, you can reframe the question to make to get the clear information. However, interviews require time. Yes, it requires some settings, personal time. The respondent should be ready. All these things will be under this one. Often, getting information from one person may take an hour or more, which may not be cost effective. Like as I said, there is a time factor and there is some uh, there is also economical factor there also, like time consuming. When this is done, the interview method is really effective for any person to get information from the respondent or interview. This is very famous method and most used to method to get psychological information, or one of the regularly used method to get the information. Yes, as I said earlier that we will be discussing about the survey method example. One such method, in December 2004, a survey was conducted by Outlook's Saptahik, like it is a magazine. Okay, to know what makes the people of India happy. The survey was conducted in 8 big cities, namely Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and a lot more names on what is the size of the population. 817 persons in the age group of 25 to 55 years. If you can see, there are 8 cities, 800 people. There can be 8 different groups participated in this study. See, it is geographically distributed and age-wise, chronologically distributed, and it may be gender-wise also. The population is very high. The questionnaire is used. The method what is used? A questionnaire used in the survey contain different types of question. The first question, are you happy, requires respondent to give their views on a 5-point scale. This is a rating scale. Extremely happy, more or less happy, neither happy, more or less unhappy, one extremely unhappy. About 47% people reported that they were extremely happy. In the survey, they conducted it is a huge survey. They used a scale, that is a rating scale, That is a 5-point scale they use, and how they want to select the options from these 5 options. And there is a questionnaire framed. I think we have discussed this questionnaire. If not, we will be seeing them. Okay. And how is the response? By collecting all the responses and analyzing the data. Like if like 47% of people, if you can see, that is close to 380. 47 people means reported that they were extremely happy. Like 380 people chose fifth option, the number 5, that is 390 people of 817, they chose to be the first option. 28%, you can say, that is around close to 220 or 210 people, more or less happy that these people chose fourth option. You are getting it right. 11% said they were neither happy nor they chose the third option. 11% means that is close to 81 or 82% of 817 people. 10% is 81.7, that is close to 82.82 or 83%. Choose what? Third option. Like this way, the second question, can you buy happiness? Like this way, the questions are there. Based on the selection of the option, you can get the percentage. How you get it? You will be dealing with the data, the collected data for the questionnaire. Like as I said, in the Google Forms, in the we have the digital methods. Previously, a survey form with check boxes, like paper pencil method has been used, and now it can be like, if you can see, earlier the entrance exams were like this one, like this type of method, like paper pencil method, and where is a paper, there is optical character recognition, mark recognition, etc. Now it is everything is digital. Okay. If you can say 80% people expressed that the money can't buy happiness. Another question, like this is another one. Like here there is a 5-point scale, and here the options are yes, no, don't know. The options here are 5 points, and here there is 3 options. 80% accept. Can you buy the happiness? Yes, it can't. No, it can't. Yes, it can't. But the peace of mind and health, what gives them maximum happiness? More than 50% respondents reported the peace of mind. Peace of mind 52%, and health 50% gave them maximum happiness. What is that? Peace of mind and health. uh, in another way, in the another question, they responded in such a way. Yes, mental health and what do you see? Um, Mind, peace of mind and health gives them extreme happiness. This was followed by response such as success in work and family. This is how they chose the option yes, no, don't know. Another question asked was to know what do they do when they feel unhappy or sad. It was reported that 36% opted for listening to music, 23% found respite company or friends, and 15% went to a movie. Like these are the options given how the survey happens. Survey happens in different methods. One such method we use is a interview method, like questions, like in a structured manner or unstructured manner, standardized, non-standardized. Standardized is a very standardized test is, like you can see now there is a situation like pandemic situation. The vaccine has to be standardized, and the reliability, validity will be calculated based on the trials, phase 1 trials, phase 2 trials, phase 3 trials, right? Like in such a way, here also the survey method helps you to standardize a particular questionnaire, the framed questionnaire, structured questionnaire, and that the results are same. We will be looking into that in-depth knowledge in the coming sessions, and I think yes, that's how we end the session. We have so far seen the survey method and the types or techniques used in the survey method. That is the first method we use is psychological interview, that is a structured and unstructured interview, or you can say standardized or non-standardized method. And that's how we end this session. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.